If you're struggling with chronic symptoms and someone proposes a solution, the first question that you're probably going to ask is, how long is it going to take to actually see results? When am I going to see the progress? Hi, my name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign. I've recovered from IBS, parasitic infection, Lyme disease, asthma, allergies, food intolerances, antibiotic overdose, and a host of chronic symptoms associated with multiple severe concussions, all using food as medicine, and it's my passion to help others do the same. In this video, I'm going to share exactly how long it truly takes to heal your gut microbiome and all the chronic symptoms that I believe come from that. Plus, I'm going to share how you can actually practically speed up the process of healing if you're looking to expedite that process. So let's jump in. So in the very beginning of my healing process, I was asking the same type of questions. I had started using food as medicine. I was eating clean. I was doing all of the gut healing things that they say you're supposed to do. And I saw amazing results right off the bat. And then my healing sort of plateaued. And I really began to ask this question: how long is it going to take for me to see full results? Am I ever going to see the results that come at the end of all of these chronic symptoms? And a really wise mentor told me that it takes about 1 month of healing for every year that you experienced that chronic symptom. So if you had 20 years of experiencing some sort of autoimmune condition, it would take 20 months for you to see real results in that. But the kicker here is that those 20 months need to be really targeted. You actually have to go all in on the healing process. Those 20 months are not wishy-washy months where you're like kind of in, you're kind of out, you're trying out a bunch of different things, and then 20 months goes by and you're not seeing the results you're looking for. It's 20 targeted months, and I'm going to explain more of what I mean by targeted in a minute, what to do and what not to do. That is the general guideline. Now, this is actually why you see children recover a lot faster than you do adults. It's taken years of damage to accrue for an adult to experience an autoimmune disease, whereas a child experiencing these symptoms, they just have much more resilience. Their body is much more adaptive towards healing, and they haven't been alive as long. So they bounce back quite quickly if they're given, again, the right targeted approach. Often the symptoms that are the most recently accrued tend to resolve themselves quicker. Now, this depends on a lot of different factors. If this was a massive chemical exposure to your body, or if this was something that was kind of building over time. A lot of people I work with tend to actually see results faster than the 1 month per year rule because they're using targeted detox strategies and the nervous system regulation work that goes along with the healing process. And both of those things, I believe, can be huge hindrances, things that really slow down the healing if you're not detoxing properly and if you aren't in a regulated space. Now, like I said, there is one big caveat here. It does depend on if your symptoms come from an extreme acute exposure. In instances where it's like an extreme acute exposure, I would fall in line with a lot of practitioners that say it takes longer for the body to heal than it did to amass the problem. And so I would expect it to take quite some time. But for a lot of people I work with, they've had these symptoms for years. There's no real pinpointed moment to where they all started. Maybe they had multiple rounds of antibiotics over the course of their lifetime. They felt worse and worse and worse. Maybe they were exposed to mold. Maybe they were exposed to heavy metals. Maybe they were exposed to pesticides. But it was all these different factors over time that sort of accrued to the place where they're experiencing this autoimmune condition, this thyroid abnormality, this really intense gut imbalance. It takes oftentimes people years to actually get to the place where they're ready to even ask for help. So it depends on a lot of different factors, but I wanted to share a little bit of a case study with you, talking specifically about my husband's issues. He was told by one of the top GAPS practitioners in the world that it was going to take him 2 to 2.5 years of diligent, pretty much flawless gut health work to be able to see results, because a combination of autoimmune conditions he was dealing with were the exact variety that tend to disrupt multiple different systems in the body, and they tend to just take longer to heal. Now, he took that seriously. He was actually gearing up for 2 years. And when he did this, he did all the detox work. He did all the nervous system regulation work alongside the nutritional protocol that he was working on. And you guys, in a matter of 8 months, his symptoms were unrecognizable. Like, he literally did not show most, if not all, of the symptoms that she said would take years to get over. And I honestly mostly attribute this to the detox support he did. He went full on in doing coffee enemas almost every single day. It really worked to clear out his liver. It got his liver functioning up and running again. And it was like this super helper and supercharger to all of his healing work he was doing in his gut. And it started to really shed those autoimmune symptoms to the point where he really doesn't identify with having any of them, which is pretty amazing. So I want to talk with you about some things that I believe really speed up the healing process. You're probably wondering, like I mentioned, there's coffee enemas. There's a lot of things that you can do that will speed this process up, make your healing go faster. And I want to talk about those. So number one is doing the right nutritional protocol correctly. So if you're doing a protocol, especially I believe so much in the GAPS diet, that you're actually making the food correctly, you learned how to do it correctly, you've learned how to make them therapeutic. So you're actually constantly challenging your body. You're not just staying stagnant. You have learned what your body needs in any given moment. And this is actually what my 1 month to 1 year ratio is based off of. It's actually contingent on doing this protocol. So it's not just doing any protocol. It's not just incorporating some of the healing elements of the protocol. It happens fast like that when you walk in and really just devote some serious time and energy to the protocol. So I would say that's number one. Number two is eliminating stress for a season. So I don't know what that's going to look like for you. It could look like a lot of different things. Maybe it's relational stress. Maybe it is your living situation. Maybe it is literally your living environment is so toxic that it is stressing the body. But stress really slows down the healing process. And I don't know how to say that any clearer. It is probably one of the biggest factors that slows down a healing process. And on top of that, it makes it really hard to sift through reactions, especially when you're doing a very targeted nutritional and detox protocol. If you're stressed out chronically, it's going to be very hard to discern what is a reaction from my body and what is actually just my nervous system being in this kind of constant state of fight or flight. Number three is time outside. And there's so many benefits of it. I know you probably hear this everywhere on the internet, but if you actually take it seriously, getting outside, getting sunlight on your body, torso exposed sunlight, vitamin D. You're getting the light at the right times of day to actually give you good circadian hygiene. Being outside gives you kind of some space from the EMFs in your house, maybe in the workplace that you're in. You get all the negative ions. If you're by the coast where you're exposed to all the waves and the ocean crashing, even just grounding exposes you to those negative ions. All of these have benefits for healing. Obviously the de-stressing effect as well. But being outside is one of the best things you can do to rapidly speed up your healing, especially say if you're living in a moldy environment, very moldy, there's not much you can do about it. Having that constant exposure to toxicity, if you can be outside as much as possible, that's going to be awesome. Number four is emotional healing. And this is a very underrated one. I think people think that this is all like woo-woo, but it's really not. Often stored trauma or trapped stress in the body can hinder and really slow down the healing process. So going on the process of becoming emotionally healthy, emotionally aware can actually open up probably a huge world for most people who haven't gone on that journey yet. If you're doing it right and you're not just re-traumatizing yourself by opening up old wounds, you can actually work to change your belief systems that you've received from past traumas and shift those, apply new meaning to them, use the resources you have available, a licensed trauma therapist if possible. And there are amazing benefits to going there and actually doing the hard trauma work on your nervous system and on your healing process. I'm actually convinced that without it, our brain will subconsciously hijack our healing process, whether it's by way of a mindset sticky or literally your body not physically being able to give up toxins because a trauma is stored in the body and trapped and causing stress. If you've ever read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, then you know what I'm talking about. Your body really does mimic what past traumas it's experienced. And so we have to be intentional to kind of reverse that if we want to see the benefits and the healing effects. One way this could play out is, for example, just binge eating a lot of food that we know isn't on the nutritional protocol that's going to benefit our bodies the most. Another way this could show up is not having boundaries with family members that maybe want to pull on your time more than you actually are capable of. Maybe that kind of takes away from the time that you know you should be devoting to yourself, your detox practices, this targeted healing period that really just takes time. Or even how denial can show up in a physical way in our bodies, but it's actually underlying all of that, a very emotional thing. Oftentimes when we have denial about something that's been going on in our past, it's not that important, it didn't affect me that much, we just kind of choose to shove it underneath the rug. Our body has a physical response to this. And often we will subconsciously actually do the same thing to our physical symptoms, which doesn't allow us to see clearly what's happening. And when you can't see clearly, then you can't remedy the problem. Another thing that speeds up the healing process, especially when you're getting started, is effective, safe, and habitual detox support. So not just detox support that you do once, you do an enema and you think, okay, I didn't feel that much benefit from it. I'm talking about consistent practice of doing this, maybe even every single day for a season. Every single day, weekly, you're actually doing the lymphatic support, the lymphatic drainage, you're helping support your mitochondria. There's all these different things that you can do to help support your body as it's getting rid of toxins, as it's rebalancing its microbiome. And they don't work if you just do them one time and you never come back to them. Actually, the most beneficial long-term effects are seen when you have these people who've been doing them 3 to 5 times a week for years. And that's actually where you see the benefit. This is statistical when you're looking at sauna research. They actually study people who have been doing sauna for a certain amount of years to see the true benefits. It's not just going to it once and having a fun time. And the last thing that I really believe speeds up healing, and for me this was super important and super key, is getting help. Getting help from somebody outside of yourself, not just Instagram, but actually getting support from an outside voice. Somebody who has experience and expertise in analyzing your symptoms to know if you're actually on the right track. Because if you go years and years doing the exact same thing and you weren't on track, I've actually met people like this who've done the GAPS protocol or other clean eating protocols. They've done it for years and they've never had outside voice involved in their process. And, it takes me not longer than 10 minutes of working with them to realize that they've missed a whole aspect of healing, or they've been doing this type of thing wrong, or they could have tweaked this and they could have probably seen much faster results. So I never promise an exact timeline when I'm working with clients because there's so many different factors. Obviously, I never know somebody's health history. I never know how long they've been sick, how sick their parents were, what their environment's been like as they're healing, what their environment was as a child, what exact toxins, what exact amount of things that we're dealing with. Even amazing tests can't even reveal that fully. But this is actually why in my Whole Health Blueprint program, I give an extended 6-month guarantee. So if you aren't seeing the results you're looking for after 6 months, I actually want to continue coaching with you. So I give you an added 6 months, and I'm considering even adding longer onto that because I really want to see people healed. And I know that true healing genuinely just takes time. This container that I built, the Whole Health Blueprint, is designed to be a step-by-step program, a one-stop shop where you come in and you begin laying the foundations of gut health, you move into the detoxification phase, and you regulate your nervous system. So you're kind of hitting every single pillar that's important, things that are often missed. We're learning to do things correctly right out the gate. And you get this catered support. So you're never questioning if you're doing something right, the right amount of something. What is this reaction I'm experiencing? And I've designed it to be that way because I really think that's the most effective way to heal. So if you're ready to stop wasting time and you really want to speed up your process, the Whole Health Blueprint is a 6-month long coaching program. Again, I mentioned there's an extended period if you need that. But my goal is to really see you get freedom from your chronic symptoms and find healing with a root cause approach. So if you're interested in that, the link for the application will be below. You can apply, fill out a short application, and then my team will get back to you in 1 to 2 business days. If you got any value out of this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more root cause gut health related content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.